If you're the type of driver who only takes their pickup to the mall, then could an electric pickup be the upgrade you've been waiting for? Because it seems to solve all the normal problems of a traditional diesel pickup. This is Ash Mayne for Zigwheels Philippines, and here's our review of the Changan Nevo Hunter K50. Alright, so normally when we shoot pickup trucks, we have to turn them off because the diesel rattle will be way too loud and be picked up on our mics. But this one's actually on, if you can hear the aircon whirring away. And it's fine because the Hunter is a range-extended electric vehicle. So underneath this hood is a gasoline engine that acts as a range extender for its dual electric motors, making this an all-wheel drive or 4x4 vehicle. Now let's start with the looks. So unlike other Chinese pickup brands or Chinese pickup models, you cannot say that the Hunter looks reminiscent of a pickup that came before it, a more popular Japanese or American pickup. It really looks like its own thing. As you can see here, this is the 101 badge, which signifies it's part of the Nevo sub-brand of Changan. And it sets off the whole front end that is dominated by this very interesting polygonal design grille, flanked by these multiple element LED DRLs with LED headlights. And below, in a nice touch, you do get fog lights as well. The hood, as you can see here, which houses the range extender, very strong creases, muscle lines here, and a very sharp finish reminiscent of a shark or a hammerhead. You still have some black plastic cladding here, as well as a plastic skid plate underneath. Because this is a 4x4, so it's still equipped to do some light off-roading perhaps. Alright, moving on here to the side, you can really take a full look of the olive green colorway here. It's very striking and looks good against the lines of the car, though I do prefer personally the gray variant. So up front, you have your 18-inch blacked out alloy wheels with highway rated tires. This step board gives you access to the 220mm of ground clearance. And notably, you do have disc brakes in the back as well, this being their top of the line 4x4. On the side mirrors, you can see repeater signals and part of the 540-degree camera system. You have a set of chromed out roof rails and a pretty sizable sports bar that looks a bit old school for my tastes. It's a plastic finish as well, so it's not as macho as the metal options you get on other cars. You have the Changan Hunter badge here. And one thing I don't like about this car too much is this. They found the biggest, chromiest pair of door handles out there, and they decided to install it on the Hunter, which kind of looks out of place versus how everything else looks. It also has black body cladding over the fenders. And lastly, it is a lid for the gas tank, but on the other side, you will find the charging port because you can plug this in as well if you don't want to recharge it using the motor up front. Now let's check out its best part because it has a pretty unique feature here in the back. Alright, right here in the back you have a pretty typical set of LED taillights. Changan badging around here, kind of old school, which I like as well. And here you have the K50 badge. So Hunter on the side, K50 in the back. What would you prefer to call this truck? Personally, me, Hunter sounds pretty badass. You can see some parking sensors here. The step bar design looks pretty old school in my opinion, and this is a point of improvement for me. But what I do like is the tailgate here. It's assisted and it's a split element tailgate, so there's a button right here to drop it open and hit this button here as well, and you have an easy step ramp to access the rear, which also comes with its bed cover from the factory. So perfect for hauling stuff around within the city because it's all secure and it's very easy to load using the included step. Downside is this truck does run on a double wishbone up front and a multi-link rear suspension, which means loading capacity isn't that good, only 495 kilos, which is like half the normal capacity you get with the normal leaf spring pickups. So if you do want a truck for hauling and not for mall crawling, this might not be the best bet. But if you're only carrying light loads, like some bikes, some camping gear, or maybe some friends in the back, this will totally fit the bill. Inside the Changan Hunter is where I find most of its weak spots. So it's a weird mix of high-end features and low-end features, or missing features altogether that make you wonder what's up with this trim variant? For example, driver gets a fully adjustable power seat. Same for the passenger. However, when it comes to the steering wheel, for some reason it is only tilt adjustable, no telescopic, which makes it a bit harder to find your optimum driving position. as well as reminding you of like more entry-level cars, which cannot adjust back and forth. You have a 7.5-inch LCD display here for your gauge cluster and a 12.3 touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is good. Okay, adjustment problems aside, the steering wheel does feel nice to the touch, leather wrap with a flat bottom, giving it a nice sporty appeal. No paddle shifters, but your shifter is here where the wiper stalk normally would be, which frees up a lot of space here in the center armrest area, including giving you a really nice placement for your wireless charger, which is also a nice felt finish, something that won't rub your phone like a bare plastic finish. So it gets there in a really comfy spot. And on top, you do have your physical aircon controls under your 12.3-inch infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You have a 7.5 LCD display for your gauge cluster, which doesn't have too much screens to it. You have your trip meter for long or short trip and a voltmeter. When this is the last time you saw one in a car? And on the other side, you do have your tire pressure monitoring system, and that's it. You will also notice that on the left side, you have your fuel gauge, and on the right side, no tachometer. Instead, you have like an energy meter, which shows you kilowatts. And normally, you'll notice this when your car is doing the regen braking. Right here, you can see your distance to empty, which is 632 kilometers. But overall, Changan quotes this comprehensive range at above 1,000 kilometers and 180 on EV charge alone. In the middle, you have your selector for your all-wheel drive system. You can either put it to 2H, 4L, or auto. No problems leaving it in auto in the city, don't mind that. And you do have a locking differential for both front and rear diff because you get one electric motor per axle in this 4x4 model. You have a height adjustment for your headlights and one-touch windows all around, even in the rear. The dashboard does get some soft touch material, but what catches your eye the most is this brushed aluminum look that cuts across in the middle. You can see it here in the door cards as well, and the little bits of red stitching here. Design-wise, it's pretty neat, it's pretty clean. The only thing I would really change is maybe a black headliner to match how black everything else is. But it does give an extra sense of airiness to the cabin. And underneath this two-step center console, you do have another cubby hole here and your USB port and 12-volt socket down there. So overall, the front end is comfy and it solves, again, one problem. The first problem of pickups that the Hunter solves is the comfort level inside. It doesn't feel rough, it doesn't feel old, which is one thing that puts off some people from using a pickup as a daily driver. But will it be the same for passengers in the back? Let's find out. Alright, right here in the back, the seats are predictably upright, just like any other normal pickup. But the seats are soft. Again, leather, just like in front, and my butt really sinking into the seat right here. Behind my normal driving position, it's a bit tight. My knees are hitting the seat in front of me. And while the feet room should be okay, there is this little container here, velcroed to the floor, and actually that's the Fix-A-Flat kit that comes with the car. So it's a nice touch, but maybe you would want to transfer it to the other side, depending on where your favorite passenger sits in the back. The floor is fairly flat, even though it has a 4x4 system, because again, your motor is on the axle itself. There's just a little bump here, which shouldn't make it too hard for your passengers. There's two AC vents here and one USB Type-A socket, as well as grab handles here and here for easy access. You also have 8 speakers, no brand name, but they sound pretty decent. And that's pretty much it for the interior of the Hunter. Now we get to the second big problem it solves when it comes to pickup trucks. So first it solved the too macho look. And now it will solve one of the biggest complaints many people have with the drive. So let's go. Alright, behind the wheel of the Changan Nevo Hunter K50 REEV Knight 4x4. So again, REEV, this is a range extended electric vehicle, meaning the 2-liter Blue-Core turbocharged gas engine up front doesn't actually spin the wheels. Instead, it leaves it to the twin electric motors, one per axle, to provide the thrust. And it's pretty good. Horsepower number comes in at 268, which puts it above a whole bunch of diesel-fed pickups, while the 470 Newton-meter torque figure puts it just a bit below the strongest of the diesel-fed pickups out there, which usually clock in at 500 solid. And as the name says, Knight 4x4 edition, it takes advantage of those two motors to give you 4x4 mode, which you can actually leave on auto when you're driving around in the city. And here's where the Hunter solves two of the pickup's biggest problems for using it as a daily driver. Number one is it's quiet. So right now, the REV, the engine, the range extender, is actually on. I can feel it vibrating slightly under my feet, and I can hear it slightly as well. But compared to the normal diesel clatter, it's pretty quiet, or super quiet actually, compared to normal diesel, which means it's a lot more pleasant as a daily driver, especially in the city. So it's quiet at idle, and it's quiet once you get on the gas. And if you've never driven an electric car before, it's one of the things that stands out the most, the lack of noise. Even from a gasoline car, the silence, the smoothness of the power delivery, and the lack of NVH from an electric car is really the best. And we all know diesel cars, especially diesel pickups, are the most notorious for having elevated noise and vibration levels, especially diesel clatter. When you're standing outside the car, even inside, you can hear it incessantly. So this alone makes this a compelling choice for a daily driver. The refinement and that power output, not bad at all. You do have 3 drive modes here: Eco, Normal, Sport, as well as Custom, where you can set your preferred intensity of energy recovery as well as the stiffness of your steering to go with the usual throttle mapping effects of drive modes. It also has a whole list of 4x4 drive modes if you do wish to take this out off-road, which we won't be doing because, again, if you're the mall crawling lifestyle pickup type, this is aimed more for you than the hardcore go anywhere in the jungle type of pickup driver. When it comes to suspension, it's another very strong point of the Hunter K50. It runs on a double wishbone up front and a multi-length rear, so no leaf springs here, which means it's not matag-tug. And in the pickup game, where everyone is just comparing how stiff or how bouncy the ride quality is, this one is near the top of the pile. At the trade-off of payload capacity, you can only carry 495 kilos like we mentioned before. But if you're not in the business of, again, hauling stuff around or moving house all the time, then it's a fair trade-off to have a soft, comfy ride, like almost SUV-like or maybe on par, in exchange for the 400 or so kilos that you never use anyway, just carrying air in the back. That makes it a good daily driver again, solving the second big problem of pickups. After the noise, it's the harsh ride. So now you don't have those two problems, making this a more livable car. Aside from the off-road drive modes, it also does have locking front and rear differentials. So that actually makes it a pretty hardcore off-roader. But again, I don't think many people will be buying this to go off-road, but it's nice to know that it's there. Alright, fuel economy. Again, this one is not a problem with normal pickups because diesel-fed pickups are very tepid, at the pump. But this one is also pretty good. You do get 180 kilometers of pure EV range. So if you plug in your car every night, then you can run pretty much on EV all the time, because 180 is a lot for going around in the city due to its 31 kilowatt hour battery. But if you do take advantage of the range extender to turn it into its own mobile charging station, that can get you north of 1,000 kilometers combined range if you zero out the tank. And so far on our drive, we are averaging around 12 kilometers per liter just in the city, which is really good. Because considering the weight of this car, it's still pretty heavy. Even though it's not running a diesel engine, even though it can't carry heavy payloads, the car itself is still a pickup, it's still a big chassis. And 12 kilometers per liter is not bad at all. Also, to make up for that less impressive payload capacity, the Hunter can tow 2.5 tons of towing capacity, but who does that anyway? When it comes to safety though, the Hunter is a bit less impressive in that regard. You do have a nice, crisp 540 degree camera. You do have parking sensors. You have lane departure warning, but for some reason, that's the only advanced driving system it comes with. It doesn't come with a blind spot monitor. It doesn't come with adaptive cruise control, but it does have lane departure warning for some reason. So it's a pretty interesting choice from Changan to spec it that way. You have the normal airbags, hill assist control, automatic brake hold, the works. But if you're expecting the usual advanced safety suite with your 4x4 model like other pickups offer, then that's one weak point the Hunter has, definitely. Okay, driving wise, the Hunter REEV doesn't feel that much different from driving any other gas-charged electric-powered car. But what's interesting is it does carry over that very EV experience of not having a starter button. So you just get into the car, unlock it, get into the car, have the key fob on you, and the car is on and it's ready to go. And then to turn it off, all you have to do is get out of the car and lock it, and the car turns off by itself. A bit of a learning curve. It feels a bit unusual the first time you encounter it, but after a while, you do find it a very convenient thing. And again, this is a plus point to this one being the most lifestyle or daily drivable out of all the pickups out there. Another nice touch for safety though is they've also done that cool trick where they integrate a DVR or dashcam system into your 360-degree camera, so there's no need to buy and install one on your own. All you need to do is insert an SD card in there. Now let's talk price. I wouldn't call this a problem with pickups, but it might be depending on your budget because their prices have gone up due to losing their tax exemption. This one, the Changan Nevo Hunter K50 REEV Knight 4x4, comes in at 1,970,000 pesos. And that's a 4x4 pickup. Compare that to most high-end 4x4 variants of diesel-fed pickups. A lot of them reach the 2 million mark, some of them more than others. So where does that put the Hunter with its 1.97 million peso price tag? I think it puts it squarely in the lifestyle truck range. As you can see from its exterior, as you can see from its feature set, it's not really for the hardcore off-road ready truck market. So I wouldn't call this an enthusiast pickup, but it's not an entry-level bare bones edition either. It's really up there in the kind that's comfy to drive every day. Think your Wild Tracks, think your Conquest editions. And with that price, it's pretty competitive when you stack it up against those. Basically, the only thing it's missing for its price is an ADAS suite, a full ADAS suite, which its competitors may or may not have. And while Changan might have been the first to announce an electrified pickup here in the Philippines, by now it does have some competition. You have the BYD Shark DMO, also a range extended electric motor operated pickup, and you do have like the Photon Tunland, which is a diesel hybrid, so an interesting choice out there. But their prices are not quite aligned. Power, it's good. It'll take care of all the zoomies you have, and it won't rattle your skull while doing so, because the comfort is there, the fuel economy is there, the looks are there. Outside it looks like a Decepticon, and I really like that for this car. It's just, if you're the nitpicky type, there are some, as I mentioned, the weird feature list. You have some nice stuff and some stuff is missing, and if that's a deal breaker for you, then you might want to test drive one for yourself to really get a hands-on feel of what's it like to drive the Hunter. But overall, it's a pretty good first effort for an electric pickup, or a pickup overall from the Changan brand. And we imagine that over the years when they update this or maybe even facelift this, I think it'll be even more competitive. But right now, I imagine this as a pickup truck that can steer people away from other pickups, but not exactly steer them away from other SUVs or maybe even small crossovers if they're considering one for their daily driver lifestyle. So overall, the Hunter solves some problems that common pickups have, such as the noise, the harsh ride, and the macho or too macho look for being a city driver. But what do you guys think? Is it worthy to start considering electric pickups, especially if you're not hauling stuff or going off-road? Let us know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.